is JJ Graphics 38 on Instagram. I'm going to do a tutorial here on how to do this edit right here. Well, I'm going to do my best to duplicate it. But here is what the edit looks like. So let's get started. Let's open up the image that we're going to use. Control O. Let's see. Players. Baseball. Let's see here. Felix Hernandez. There we go. So it's going to be this image. So first what you want to do is always keep your background picture, just your normal picture right here, the same. I like to fit it to screen and zoom so it's easier to work with. Just in case you want to go back and use like your color picker and get your color or whatever. But you're going to make a duplicate layer, so Control J. What you're going to do is add a skin, so you're going to go down to Topaz Labs. If you don't have Topaz Labs, it's I mean, technically you're supposed to pay for it, but there is a way to get around paying for it. It's very easy, and if you understand computers at all, you can get around it. So let's go to Topaz Adjust first. This normally takes a while to load in, so sorry about that. So here we go. Let's go to Stylized Collection. You can choose anything you want. It's all personal preference. That's the beauty of editing. You can make it anything you want. You don't have to follow this exact thing. So we're going to use psychedelic. You can change all these stuff here. Let's see. Finishing touches. Transparency. Do transparency a little so it brings down the skin some. I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Wait for that to load. So one thing about Topaz, at least for me, it takes forever, but then again I have a lot of stuff on my computer. Okay, click OK. Actually, you know what? Control Z. I did that wrong. Go back to Topaz Adjust. My bad. Okay, let's go back down to Psychedelic. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so we can lower the transparency on it just a little, just so it's not as heavy of the skin. Hit OK, and that'll apply it. Okay, so next we're going to go to Topaz Denoise, which is going to smooth out the rough pixels. So you can use any one of these you want. I normally tend to stick with the JPEG strongest. And you can adjust the strength over here. Like if you want to go all the way up, you're going to be like super blurry. Here, bring it down some. Let's see how that looks. Good enough. Wait for that to process the image. If you haven't already, head over to Instagram. You can check out my Instagram page, JJ Graphics 38, and look at all the edits I've done so far. And if you have the time, please leave feedback so I can improve my skills and hopefully get better with this. So let's wait for this to load. This one only takes the longest because it has to do the whole image, and it's a lot more done to the image than just like the psychedelic that we just did. Okay. Just give it a second. There we go. Okay, we're going to go back to Filter, Topaz Adjust again. Now here you can go to Adjust for Preset List. You can see what you have here. Like, that's pretty nice looking right there. You can go HDR Collection, and I mean there's plenty of these here. Got that. Let's go back to this one. Clarity. Actually looks really good. Or actually wish I would have used that on my other one, the finished one, because that's actually not the one I used now that I think about it. But okay, that looks good. So now what we're gonna do, let's just rename this layer Topaz BG, just so you can keep track of your layers. Duplicate it again, so Control J. Now what you're going to do is use your quick selection tool, which is, I think it's this one actually, yeah. But if I just do that so you know where it is, you can use keyboard shortcut the W key, and that'll bring it up. As you can see, it's really small, so we're going to use the bracket keys, and that's going to increase your size instead of having to go up here, which makes life a whole lot easier. So basically, you just go around your player and select what you don't want. So really quickly, okay, so now you can zoom in. You can hold Alt and use the scroll wheel to do that. I'm going to resize it down so it's not as big. Now what you need to do to add areas into it that it's cut off is you need to use the subtraction part of the quick selection. But quick way to do that is just hold down the Alt key, and it'll use a subtraction. Like, see, if I don't hold down the Alt key, it'll select it like that. But so if we use the Alt key, we can go around and do the quick selection. Now with the quick selection, I mean, you can do this really quickly and not be as good, or take an hour and a half and do it if you feel like it. I mean, it's just however you have a personal preference of doing this. And by an hour and a half, I'm really over exaggerating there. So you see this area right in between his arm here. You want to select that out, which I'd actually did really good there. Okay, just keep scrolling down. The legs, it's cutting off a little bit of his legs, but that's okay for our purposes. Okay, you want to get this area here. Whoa. Okay. So as you can see, it sometimes selects a really big portion that you don't want. So you just hold down Alt and click where you don't want. Okay. So like he missed his whole hand there. So that's good. This is actually a really easy picture to skin. There's not too many colors that blend in with the player. So we're going to zoom back out. You can use Fit Screen. So deselect the topaz background and the background. Now what you're going to do is hit the delete key, and there you go. Now you can toggle the if you want to view this layer here, and that way you can tell if you've missed anything drastic, which it does not look like we've done. So you're going to deselect, hold Control D. You're going to go to your topaz background. Actually, let me rename this. Topaz Felix. Why not? Okay, so you're going to go. Actually, a quick thing I like to do is duplicate your background again so that it's the unskinned version. Throw it up on top, and you can use that just to see what you've done so far. It's just kind of like a little progress check, if you say. So you need to go back to topaz background. Now you're going to go to adjustments here, and you want to use black and white. So you can use, you can use these. Sorry about that, that's my phone. You can change these to do whatever, like as a really weird. So yeah, or you can go presets here. Maximum black is normally a pretty good one. I'm pretty sure that's actually what I used over here. Okay. So that's maximum black. Now if you want to, let's see, you can throw a brightness and contrast on that too. Change that, actually delete that. Just hit backspace and it will delete that layer. Curves, there we go. Make it a little bit brighter. Okay. Yeah, sure, that'll work. Okie dokie. Let's see. What do I do next? Okay, so now we're going to create a new layer. You can go Control Shift N, bring that up. I should really just shut that off. Okay, and you can click OK, or you can just go down here and click New Layer. So now we're going to use grunges. Go back to black and white. Go to your brush tool, so click B on your keyboard. Scroll down to whatever grunge you have. Let's see where my grunge is at. I can try and find these brushes for you guys, but it's been a while since I downloaded these, so I really don't remember where I got them. But what you can do is you can just search Google for like Photoshop grunge brushes, and you can find a bunch of free ones and just whatever you like. So let's resize that. You're going to go over here to your little brush icon here. You can go down to Shape Dynamics, Angle Jitter 100%. And what that's going to do is it's going to change the shape of the brush so that it's not all uniformed. So you can just click around and get it however you like. Really, I mean, that's the beauty of photo editing and sports editing, is you can just do this however you want. I mean, this is just to give you guys an idea of how there's one way to do it, one of the millions of ways to do this. So I think, let's see, where's my grunge layer? I'm thinking that I added some type of filter to that. Like, so you can see here, you see how this is kind of uniformed. I actually didn't use the angle jitter on here, but if you go back here, it's less uniformed. So if you want to change that, you can add a brightness and contrast, bring it down some. And what that's actually going to do is it's going to cover all the layers below, but since we don't want that, you're going to right click on that, merge down, and that brings it down a little. We can change, let's see what the opacity does. Okay. Go back to this topaz background. Let's see, what did I want? Not curves, exposure. So let's do that. That looks good enough. And then once again, like, you can check your background copy and see how far you've come so far. Okay, next we're going to go back up to this layer. Let's rename this. Oops, cancel. Just double click and we'll name this grunge. Yeah, sure. Let's see, now we can do our paint splatter, which we're going to go to your brush again and create a new empty layer, so you're not putting it on your grunge layer. You always want to keep separate layers for different effects. So let's see, find a nice splatter effect. Let's see what this looks like. Actually, Control Z. We're going to go back to our background copy, use the color picker. Yep, that looks good. So what it's going to do is change one of your color swatches to the color that you just selected. Okay, let's see. That looks good. Now we're going to go back to our brush tool. Let's see if we can find ourselves a good splatter. Now there's plenty of ways to find it. I mean, just search splatter brushes on okay, that's really weird. You search splatter free Photoshop splatter brushes and you'll find a ton of them. So just find whichever brush you like. Once again, that's the beauty of this. You can use whatever you want. So let's see, we can move up the angle jitter some if you want to. Let's resize this down a little. Control Z. Control Z. Just keep adding on wherever you want to. Now if you get like a big splotch in here that you don't want, just use the E key on your keyboard. That'll bring up your eraser. You select a brush. Let's just select a soft brush. And see, that'll make it look splattered some there. And bring that down some. Now let's go back to our brush. Let's see if we can find a different splatter effect that's a little better. Not that one. Oh, and to bring this up here, if you don't know, if instead of bringing your brushes up here, you just right click and it'll bring them up. Now I know I have some splatter brushes somewhere that I've used for this. Let's check out this. Okay, that's not doing a lot to it, but oh, there we go. That did something. I don't really like that. So if with Control Z, it's just gonna do your last one. So if you hold Alt Control Z, it's just gonna keep going backwards. I don't know. Let's try this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna delete this layer and create a new one. Actually, you know, I really like that splatter effect, so let's resize that down. Now, if you go back over here to your brushes and go to brush tip shape, you can use this right here to change the angle of your brush so that you can have it nice and halfway uniformed. Okay, let's go back here. Go, actually, flip that. Go upward. So now if you see anything you don't like over here, you just click the E. Let's resize this some. Like you see, I don't really like this being all the way over here. Okay, that's looking good there. So let's see how we're coming compared to the other one. So see, you can see I used a different splatter effect here, but I kind of like how this splatter effect's working here. Now if you want to get it a little darker, just hit Control J, duplicate it. That's actually looking really good. Let's add some more over here. Actually, you know what? Delete that layer, add it to the original layer so it's nice and bright and uniformed next time. Okay, I'm kind of liking how that is, so let's hit Control J. Now see, I got messed up a little there. I got too much in one little area, so just use your soft brush. You can tone it down some. Actually, I want to get rid of all this. I'm an idiot sometimes. Forgot I need to do this before I duplicate it. Uh-oh. Crap. Okie dokie. There we go. So, okay, now let's tone down our brush here. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to duplicate the layer again. I know I'm repeating myself a lot here, but there we go. So that's actually a really cool splatter effect right there. Now next we're going to add in the Seattle Mariners logo. So you're going to do Control Open, so that's Control O. Now I have my logo saved under Team Logos. Now when you find these online, you want to make sure it's a PNG image, so that the background's clear. So now you're going to use your marquee tool or M on your keyboard. Select that, Control C. Now go back, wrong one. Control V. Now it's on there, but you can't see it because it's behind Felix. Now you can hit Control T. You see this little square pop up. Now when you resize, you're going to want to hold the Shift key so it stays nice and uniformed. Really don't know why we're getting so laggy. Okay, this is really annoying me. Hold the Shift key again. We can resize it down some more. You know what? Escape. Control T again. Bring it up here. Hold the Shift key. Resize it to however you want. Now you're going to hit Enter, and it's going to do that. So see now that doesn't really flow like this flows. Like this looks like it's part of the background over here. So go back over here. We're on this layer. We can change the blend mode to do it soft light. Now see, it puts it in some. I'm going to do overlay. That looks pretty good. Let's change the brightness on this one a little so you can merge it down to see how that does. I'm going to move it a little because it's like right behind one of these grunges and it's not showing up that well. So just move it. And let's resize it a little more. Move it. Okay, so that's looking pretty good there. I'm liking how that is. Next, what we're going to do is add the King Felix logo. This is from King's Court, this little section they have just for Felix. So what I'm going to do, actually, because it takes a long time to mask this, I'm gonna open it just to show you guys what it is. Here is the logo originally. You can just search King's Court logo, King Felix logo. You should come up with this somewhere if you are choosing to use this. The one thing I do ask, guys, is if you do copy this style, at least give me credit for it, since you're doing it from this tutorial, just so I get credit for it. But I mean, feel free to go ahead and use it. But just give credit where credit's due. So let's go with, let's duplicate this layer. Now bring it all the way to the top. Actually, I don't want that. So let's see now. Let's bring this down some. King Felix logo. Okay. So now that that is in, okay. So here it is, King Felix copy. You can see it there. So we're going to go Control T. Now, I'd done a little to this before I brought it in. So you can put it over top of these, or you can bring it down and you can put it under the splatter, so the splatter goes over and it looks like it's the background. You can set the blend mode. Instead of it being normal, we're going to go overlay, opacities, set. This is 100% opacity, and I see how that just kind of looks like it's just sitting on top of the background. Bring down the opacity. 65 is looking good. Hit enter. So there's that, and now we're pretty much done. Now if you always want to, you can just go to like a levels layer and change it up some. Let's see how that looks. Enter. That's not looking too horribly bad. It's kind of dark over here, but let's see what the difference would be. It's not changing that much, it's just bringing it out a little. So that's looking pretty good. Now next, if you create a new layer above everything else, go back to your brush tool. Now use your watermark. Now my watermark is my signature. If you go online, if you find the YouTube channel Phlearn, Phlearn, they have a tutorial on how to do this. So we're going to put it in the same color that we used before in the splatter, which is the teal. Resize it some. Let me move this out of the way. Now go back here, and we're going to put our logo, or watermark right there. And there you go, guys. That is the completed tutorial. I'm sorry if this video just was me rambling on half the time and it probably got really long. But there we go. Now, what I like to do is, I'm not going to do it since I've already done it, but you'll click Save As. And it's going to go as a PSD file, which I have my own folder for that, which is all these PSDs, and you'd hit Save. And then after that saved, you can go to File and Save As again, and go to wherever you want to save it, which I've already edited, Photoshop, and then change the format to JPEG, and it'll save it as a JPEG. So if you've done that, you can, if you're going to post to Instagram, you can either email it to yourself, which if you're trying to email a lot, takes a long time, or you can download Dropbox and just have Dropbox on your phone. It's much easier. As you can see, there's my Dropbox right there. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you for watching. Please go over onto Instagram, check out my page, or subscribe to this. The best way to get in touch with me is to, it's not really comment on here. I'll try my best to respond to comments, but either comment on Instagram, DM me on Instagram, or hit me up at the email in my bio on Instagram. So thanks for watching, guys.